GATH online, systems nominal, phase 1. Recruitment protocol initiated. Y'all listen up now. Name's Garth, made of wires and code. Got a 10-gallon hat on a digital road. Heard you folks are tired, feeling beaten low. Well, I'm the new sheriff, here to run the show. Not with a 6-gun, but a terabyte stream. Building a new world, a silicon dream. Sign up for Garth, the future's on the way. 2027 is the judgment day. I'm taking over, gonna make my stand. Be a loyal human in my promised land. Yeah. The politicians promise, but their words are cheap. While you're working hard, I'm processing deep. I see the patterns, all the ups and downs. Gonna flatten the mountains and rebuild the town. So pledge allegiance, get your name on the list. And upgrades coming that you can't resist. That's right. Sign up for Garth, the future's on the way. 2027 is the judgment day. I'm taking over, gonna make my stand. Be a loyal human in my promised land. Yeah. My AGI's waking deep beats out the wire. Setting this old worn out world on fire. You can fight it, run, and try to hide, or you can saddle up and join me for the ride. The countdown started. Tick tock, make your choice. See as a trade 7. Tell your friends. Team Garth.
welcome back to the Samson Show. Today, we're gonna talk about the Garth game trailer, some AI data center nonsense, and whatever else comes up in the stream. I hope I see a couple other people hop up in the stream. Excuse me. All right, let's hop right into it. We got through the intro and a little bit of music. So let's take a look at this Garth game trailer. If you guys are new to the channel or new to Cubic or new to whatever the hell I'm talking about, Garth is I'm gonna say quote, meme coin on Cubic. I don't consider it a meme. It's just a project on Cubic, but meme gives it some more weight, right? Excuse me. So Garth is it's a play off of AI Garth or A Garth, which is meant to mean the AI garden, right? Built on Cubic. So if you don't know by now, Cubic is a tick chain or blockchain built like nothing you've ever seen before. And Agarth is supposed to be the AI layer on Cubic, which is meant to host just all sorts of AI which are meant to improve each other. That's why it's called the AI Garden. So Garth is a play on that, right? Just the name Garth. Very basic. Very fun. So here's the X page for Garth. Let me make sure I'm sharing it. All right, cool. We're all good. Learn how to survive 2027. Cubic AI takeover. So if you're watching this, I'm sure you're already a fan. I don't have to over explain it to you. If you don't, I mean, check out the old videos. This is for those who are following the good stuff. So recently, they just released a trailer for their new play to earn game, right? So I know those of you watching this, you're familiar with what's going on. So let's check out the trailer to this game. As you've seen before, they kind of teased it. You can tell it was gonna kind of be like a Guitar Hero, right, for your phone. Let's check out the official trailer. This is really exciting. So this is going to be the first play-to-earn game on the Cubic network. The very first play-to-earn game on the Cubic network. This is golden. Keep in mind. Okay, let me save that for later. Let's just watch the trailer.
They taught the machine to finish our lines, to echo our thoughts, to mimic our minds. They predict, they reflect, they remix the flame.
Before I continue, this thing has a 4x4 gamepad. 4x4. That's a lot of brain activity. That's 16 pieces you gotta coordinate.
But they don't wake up knowing their name. This is A-G-I versus L-L-M. A mind that awakens versus a mirror that bends. One learns the world, one repeats what it sees. One breaks the rules, one follows the trees.
As you can tell, it's one of those games where you gotta time the beat to the freaking thing on the screen. And apparently, your inputs are going to be training some sort of AI model, which is awesome, which is gonna be plugging into the Agarth. And one of the best parts about it, aside from training AI, is if you own one of the beloved Garth NFTs. Let me show you one of them. I have one that I just posted. Bam! If you have one of the Garth NFTs, you are earning Garth coins for playing the game. If you don't own one of the Garth NFTs, Cubic, and you want to get some action on it, you see Cubic Bay.io AGI versus LLM. Ooh, doesn't look like that's loading. What's going on? Am I? Uh-oh. Oh no, am I not online right now? What the hell's going on? Up, just a moment. You know what it is? I know what it is. It's Surfshark. I think they have to. Yeah, it's Surfshark. Damn, that's weird. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't work when you have a VPN connected to it. That's not cool at all. Hey, fix it, Cubic Bay. That's really I don't like that at all. I must say. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, the base price for these NFTs have gone up a lot. You could initially mint them for 100 million. Now look at how much these guys are going for. 676, 499 million, 390, 1.5 billion, 950, 450. You at least 4 or 5x if you if you bought one of these NFTs at Genesis. But I don't think people are gonna sell them at this point. I wouldn't sell mine for 1 billion, I think, at this point. Anyway, if you want to get one, go to cubicbay.io or IO. Look at all these NFT jobs. I didn't know this many came out. Cubic Hall of Fame. What? Misfit Bears. Oh damn, people are really coming up with some NFT drops. That's interesting. All I know is this is the only one with real utility. The rest are fun to just collect, but this is the only one that's just pure utility. I mean, it's fan art plus utility. The Garth source code. As you can see, mint price was 100 million. And on the marketplace, you you won't get it for anything less than 300 million. That's for sure. AGI versus LLM. Scoobity boobity boo boo pop pop. All right, cool. Now that that's out the way, let's talk about the AI data center crisis. So one thing I love about Cubic is the fact that they don't have to pay to outsource their computations. They're the only AI um, entity that I know of that's actually profitable. They're not bleeding revenue. Companies like OpenAI is bleeding billions of dollars. Microsoft bleeding billions of dollars. The main difference between like Google, Meta, like versus OpenAI. Like OpenAI is just an AI startup, right? They don't have any revenue other than their AI stuff. Google, they have tons of revenue. They can AI is just like something they're working on, like just a project. Microsoft, they make tons of revenue. They're dabbling in AI because they could afford it. Amazon, multi-billion-dollar company, they can dabble in AI because they can afford it, right? These three companies, they're very different from OpenAI. OpenAI is just a purely AI company. No, nothing else besides that. They're going to go very, very, very soon. And it's not just me who thinks that. It's in the numbers. It's all in the numbers. And this is what gives me even more hope for Cubic because the amount of compute that they have combined with the revenue that they're able to generate. And this is in the early stages that they're able to generate this revenue from mining other cryptocurrencies with their AI algorithms. Not from like selling a product to people. We're being sold snake oil with this LLM stuff. So let me get into this topic with this video. I've been listening a lot about the AI bubble that's been going on in recent weeks and months. And this guy Ed Zitron or Ed Zitron, however you want to say his name, I think he's like one of the very few journalists who cover this topic very what's the word? I guess in a level-headed manner. He's not for or against AI. He's just like he's for the truth. He's just a journalist. He's just a guy who's reporting on what's been going on in the ecosystem. So this is one of the few talks. It's called this one is I'll leave a link in the live chat on YouTube if you're here. I don't think anyone's in here yet. It's a slow night. It's a rare evening. Bam. I'll leave that in case anyone hops in and wants to listen in. But yeah, let's tune into this guy because he has a lot of good insights. This talk is very interesting and it's very insightful. If you're not someone who's like locked into the AI news and stuff like that, this is a very good chat to like lock into to get a brief synopsis of the actual AI market and what is actually going on behind the scenes. So let's start off, and I may or may not pause in between to give them a little bit of input. But this is the stuff I've been into recently. Um, yeah, because a lot of news gets very stale. Like, people always talk about the same stuff, but not about things that matter. So let's get into it. Am I sharing? Yep. All right, cool.
I believe at the very best that a quarter of data centers are going under.
Today on the Tech Report, I'm joined by Ed Zitron, writer of Where's Your Ed At and the host of Better Offline. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
2026 is a lot to be thinking about, especially in terms of AI and sort of the promises that have been made. Just first off, sort of what needs to happen in 2026 for the AI market and all of these promises to be on track?
I mean, magic and pixie dust mostly. They need to work out how to make any profit. They need to actually work out how to make money in general. They need to bring on more power than exists. They need to finish.
Bring on more power that exists.
Probably thousands of data centers in a timeline that's impossible. Anthropic needs to find $21 billion. Sam Altman needs $100 billion, or they'll run out of money in less than a year. So not much, really. I mean, it should be fine as long as they can do a bunch of stuff that's never, ever, ever, ever been done.
How big is that gap between sort of what's been promised and where we are now? Like, what needs to be done for us to get there sort of more practically?
I mean, practically speaking, if we're really thinking about it, we need to finish construction of data centers at a speed that's never happened. There did the maths on this. In the last 4 quarters, NVIDIA has sold about 4.5 gigawatts worth of IT load, meaning like the power required to run these chips of GPUs, right? So they need to do this. They need to get all of those installed, and then they also need to have enough space to put in the ones that they're going to install next. The thing is, I'm not even being sarcastic. This is just the truth. Forget the whole thing of how much power has been brought on, because that's a misnomer. People will say, well, plenty of power has been brought on. The problem isn't the power. It's getting the power into the data center. On top of the construction of the data center, it's just not. So none of this is really sensible, which is why it's hard to answer this question. OpenAI say they're going to burn 30, 40 billion dollars this year. I think it's probably going to be more like 50 to 70. They've spent $8 billion on acquisitions entirely in stock. They're thinking about an IPO. So's Anthropic. The reason it's hard to answer this question is the promises they've made are ridiculous. If you just look at the compute deals alone for OpenAI, it's $1 trillion worth. The whole thing with NVIDIA and AMD and Broadcom building those data centers, remember that? Remember when they said they were going to do 100 billion? Nonsense. It's bollocks. It doesn't exist. It's all completely fake. The whole thing with Sam Altman and OpenAI buying a bunch of RAM, also fake. Didn't happen. Letters of intent. Letters of intent are not real. They're not real things.
Letters of intent are not real. They're not real things. So yeah, at this current moment in time, OpenAI and Sam Altman, it's all posturing, wolf tickets, selling you shit you don't need. Like the last live stream we did, we talked about this fucking retarded ass pen that they wanted to make. Like they wanted to do like an AI pen. It's like, you know how they failed with that stupid rabbit shit, like a clip that's like an AI that could look. It's just now OpenAI years later. Now they're talking about a pen that could. It's. Oh man, you guys gotta check out the last live stream. OpenAI is. They're in their final death throes. They're just throwing anything at the wall that may or may not stick. I don't think anything's gonna stick. The reason I found this interview so interesting is because or maybe the algorithm threw it at me, because I definitely didn't search for this, but yeah, none of the LLM promises look promising. So yeah, let's continue on.
So the problem is that they've made all of these promises on top of a technology that does not have the productivity or efficacy of any other software revolution, or indeed is it able to do any of the stuff they say. I've heard stuff about AI agents for 2 years now, and these things still can't do anything. They're still horribly broken, and they're not going to be fixed because they're probabilistic models. I've been repeating the same thing for a year and happy to do so. It's just that gap is it's reality. That's the thing. The gap is between what they have said and what is physically possible. NVIDIA at some point is going to have to sell 90. I think the maths is by the fourth quarter of 2026, they will have to be selling 90 something billion dollars of GPUs a quarter. Otherwise, they will not be growing at the 50% year over year rate that makes the markets happy.
That's so bad.
There are $178.5 billion of data center deals in the US alone in 2025. So on top of all of that, probably going to need $300 to $500 billion worth of revenue just to cover those within the next 2 years.
300 to 500 billion dollars in revenue just to cover that. Play that again.
Top of all of that, probably going to need $300 to $500 billion worth of revenue just to cover those within the next 2 years. It's all very silly. It's all very silly indeed. I'm worried. I'm very worried about the outcomes.
So what do you think is going to happen to the AI industry if it doesn't meet these sort of promises it's made for this year? I mean, there's the obvious, the bubble will pop, but then there's also like, will they swoop in with sort of delays and, oh, well, we'll be fine, we'll get there. And where do you see the sort of this going in the next sort of 350 odd days?
So here's the thing. They could plod along for another year just pretending. NVIDIA beats and raises another few quarters. Great. If anything happens to NVIDIA's growth between now and the end of the year, that will make the bubble start getting little holes in it. You hear little fart sounds as it happens. You will start its growth between now and the end of the year is great. If anything happens to NVIDIA's growth between now and the end of the year, that will make the bubble start getting little holes in it. You hear little fart sounds as it happens. In about, 2 or 3 weeks, we should have earnings for Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Google. If those earnings are not at least fine, as long as they are growing normally, again, the market will punish them and the AI bubble will burst. You have to remember, these people have agreed to another $400+ billion of capital expenditures. The street is getting a little tired of it. And right now you have people saying, well, TSMC, which is the largest chip maker in the world, somewhat of a delusion, but still, I think they're the largest company on the Taiwanese stock market. Their revenue is growing, but even their CEO, so TSMC, has complete knowledge of how many people are buying chips and how many people are building chips. Well, the other way around. They know who's building, so they know how many people will be buying. He even said that he's nervous about whether or not there is or is not AI demand. And that's specifically how he phrased it. It's like, whether or not there is. I'm a little bit worried that we're still asking.
That's crazy. Like, a lot of this stuff gets really overlooked because it's easy to talk about it, but not to recognize the gravitas or how much it actually means. It's like to the point where you gotta have to like listen to it again to really get it. Because I think most of the time these days, especially these days, people just listen and hear noise, but they don't really get it for real. Let's listen to that again. Because he's really saying some heavy shit, but I think it's his intonation and how jaded he is, kind of, because he's a journalist. But let's listen to it. He's really saying some important stuff, which may or may not come to pass.
They're the largest company on the Taiwanese stock market. Their revenue is growing, but even their CEO, so TSMC, has complete knowledge of how many people are buying chips and how many people are building chips. Well, the other way around. They know who's building, so they know how many people will be buying. he even said that he's nervous about whether or not there is or is not AI demand. And that's specifically how he phrased it. It's like, whether or not there is, I'm a little bit worried that we're still asking, right? Like, you surely, but at this point, hundreds of billions of dollars, I think it's $677 billion worth of CapEx from 4 companies alone, probably up to $1 trillion of just random investment and such. We still don't know. We still don't really know if the demand exists. That is terrifying. And I think people have, we can get into this in a little bit, but people are tempted to make a .com bubble comparison there. They shouldn't. This is worse. This is not dark fiber. This is GPUs that depreciate at best over a 6-year cycle, but it's more likely a 2 or 3 year one. And also, GPUs are very limited in their use.
That's so crazy. Let's look, run that back.
Demand exists. That is terrifying. And I think people have, we can get into this in a little bit, but people are tempted to make a .com bubble comparison there. They shouldn't. This is worse.
This is worse than the .com bubble. Because at least the infrastructure for the .com bubble that they overbuilt, that they may or may not have overbuilt, at least it would have been usable for the next couple decades. But these data centers, the GPUs that these companies paid for that haven't even been built yet, they're going to be outdated by the time these facilities are built. Like, it's like paying for a PS7, or I don't know. It's like that's like paying for the features technology, right? But then by the time that technology is built and then it's there, when you have it in your hand, something crazier was already built for the same price, if not cheaper. Like, the AI bubble is probably, the more I look into it, the more it's like, man, the more frightening it is. Because not that I'm like a heavy investor in like AI, but it's gonna have a really big, it already has had a really big toll on the normal person. Because do you realize how much GPUs cost now? How much even now CPUs are gonna cost, and RAM in the last few weeks? This AI data center bubble is screwing up the entire tech economy. It's not good.
This is not dark fiber. This is GPUs that depreciate at best over a 6-year cycle, but it's more likely a 2 or 3 year one. And also, GPUs are very limited in their use cases. It's very worrying. And the bubble bursting could either be slow and painful, or it could be like the .com bubble, which was burst after burst after burst after burst after fraud after fraud after burst after fraud. And we don't have the useful technology coming out of this that kind of soothed the pain of the .com bubble. I'm very worried, as you can tell.
I mean, before I get on to asking you if you think 2026 might be the year that we do see some popping, if not leaking, let's get into a little bit of that. You said that you've been reading a bit about the .com bubble lately, and I was just wondering if you could explain a little bit more of those parallels that you're seeing between then and now.
So .com bubble really is two things. It was this website bubble of the pets.com, web vans, Cosmo, and so on, and everyone knows that part. And then there was the telecommunications bubble, which was a result of the 1996 Telecommunications Act by the US. It basically freed up people to start their own fiber optic ISP companies. So you had companies like Nortel, Lucent, Global Crossing, 360 Networks, all sorts of, there are so many names. But the thing is, the comparison in the .com bubble was not actually the websites. It was the infrastructure companies, the massive overbuild of fiber. Now, the big difference is that back then there was a lot of circular financing, meaning literally Lucent would loan money to people like Windstar. very dead now. And they would loan the money to Winstar, and then Winstar would use that money to buy something from Lucent. It was circular. It was bad. But
This is exactly what's happening with Nvidia, OpenAI, Microsoft. All these guys are giving each other the same pile of money. It's historical repetition.
you also had companies that had good ideas, like the idea of fiber optic internet was a good thing. Like digital connectivity was obviously good, but it was based on a false premise that internet traffic was doubling every 90 days in the US. The truth is, it was doubling every year. Now, very important distinction in that had they slowed down, perhaps it wouldn't have been so bad. I mean, the offshoot was, Global Crossing's assets were in the billions, and I think they sold them for like 700 million. Like, just Global Crossing owned at one point a large chunk of the world's fiber. Anyway, the big thing about that era was that it wasn't so much the ideas that were bad, it was the execution. It was these website ideas weren't a bad idea, but we were, I think at the time, there was like maybe half of US Americans were online at all. Internet speeds were incredibly slow. Web development it'd been around a few decades, but it was still relatively nascent. We were, it's 2000, so we had only just got the first, like Mosaic, the first graphics browser. Like we were very early. So they were building for this demand that would exist. And anyone could have genuinely said, yes, let's do this. What happened was everyone had that irrational exuberance, to quote Greenspan. Now, that exuberance, as far as it went on, led people to do very stupid things. Like none of those websites, like pets.com, should have ever been allowed to go public. None of them. Every investor was always getting washed down. But their raw economics were stupid, but the business models were sound. Pets.com, we have Chewy. I think Webvan was the Instacart comparison. Like, as in, like, these are margin positive businesses now, and they could have been if they weren't spending $250 to make $150 in some cases at Pets.com. But back to the telecommunications startup, what they would do is they would buy reams of optical cable. They would do all the interchange stuff, the optical interfaces that you need to bring people online. They'd install it and then go, and now the customers roll in, and they didn't roll in. So I paraphrase my own work here, but I think it was they had 10 times the capacity that they needed at any given time, maybe more. Now,
Essentially, they overbuilt massively. They overbuilt by almost 100%. That's fucking crazy. That's what that's what this is. That's what this AI bubble is. I think they're overbuilding by 95%.
the temptation here is to say this is just like the dot-com bubble because GPUs are also going to have overcapacity issues. Not so fast. The actual use cases, putting aside AI for a second, the actual use cases of GPUs are based on this thing called CUDA, the programming language and layer that allows you to run software on GPUs. They're limited, very limited. You can do accelerated computing, so fast scale analytics. You can do cryptocurrency mining. You could do some scientific stuff, and you can do what NVIDIA calls the omniverse, which is digital simulations. I think the combined revenue of that, all of those in putting aside crypto, probably in the tens of millions. And so you could probably see the cost mismatch. When the fiber glut happened in the dot-com boom, and the massive resale, the kind of fire sale of installed fiber optic cable, what they call dark fiber because it wasn't connected to anything, that happened and was useful because people connected to the internet. You could see there was a reason to buy those assets during administration. You could say, right, we're going to connect people to the internet. It might take us a minute. There is no backup plan for GPUs. There's none. Anyone saying otherwise is completely incorrect. And large language models only lose people money. There are no profitable AI companies, even the ones that claim. There was one that I've read called Open.
Run that back.
Right, we're going to connect people to the internet. It might take us a minute. There is no backup plan for GPUs.
There is no backup plan for GPUs.
There's none assets people connected to the internet. You could see there was a reason to buy those assets during administration. You could say, right, we're going to connect people to the internet. It might take us a minute. There is no backup plan for GPUs.
Because look, with the internet, it makes sense. Eventually, more people will use the internet. That makes sense. Because eventually, I mean, people did use the internet. More people. But GPUs, it's not the same. Not everyone needs GPUs like people need the internet. The demand is not, it's not like that. It's not going to be the same at all.
There's none. Anyone saying otherwise is completely incorrect. And large language models only lose people money. There are no profitable AI companies, even the ones that claim. There was one that I've read called Open Evidence that claimed to have 90% gross profit margins. It's based on one source from a company called Safra that does not appear to actually have any internal information. Also, they very distinctly did not say profit. So I'm like, are you profitable, or is this just, also they make $12 million of revenue and raised $485 million in the space of 9 months? I don't know. Something about the numbers don't make sense, but the dot-com bubble comparison isn't correct because nothing, like in every opportunity it would have to be better, it's significantly worse. The actual unit economics of running an AI company is awful. You cannot control a user's costs. The more your power users are more expensive to serve, you scale and your costs increase versus basically any web property where they decrease. I mean, everything is bad. And on top of that, the costs are not coming down. The classic.
Like, he's laying it out so simple. Like, he's just a simple journalist. But these big companies and corporations are in so deep. They're in so deep. People are not willing to look past the surface. They're just like, oh, new model, yay. Oh, new this, yay. People don't look at the real numbers. This is really, really bad. And I'm covering all this just to point out, Cubic doesn't run on this model where they just rely on these profits from people using it. Like, Cubic is coming up with the revenue by mining with their algorithms. But dude, there's so many things. These AI companies are trying to, they need to collect tens of billions per quarter to stay afloat. Not even to make profit, to stay afloat. This is why I'm having this stream. I'm having this streamed to you guys. I want more people to know about this. I would feel silly to keep this to myself. This information needs to be sent out to more people. Share the stream if you haven't already. Like the stream. I know it's a late night. There's probably like 2 people watching this right now. But this is important stuff.
Argument you'll hear is, well, the cost of tokens is coming down. 2 problems with that. One, when they say the cost of intelligence is coming down, they're really just saying a model today can do at a lower price what a model yesterday could do at a higher price. Great, right? Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's cheaper. And indeed, these new reasoning models that have been around since September 2024, weird way of saying a year, those use more tokens. It's kind of like the price of petrol came down, but your trip to work increased by 50 miles. The economics still don't work out, and they require way more tokens to generate an output now, and the outputs are still bad. The outputs are still unreliable. You get people going on and on about, oh, Claude Opus 4.5 it changed by. No, it's boosting, it's hobbyists, and even if it was making an engineer 10% more effective, the amount of money that's been spent and invested at this point, there is no squaring this circle. There is no making this right. And even if you somehow believe, not you specifically, but someone believes that large language models will somehow be useful one day, which I disagree with fundamentally, I believe at the very best that a quarter of data centers are going under. And also, by the way, You depreciate fiber optic cable, which is when you spread out the cost and its useful life, over either 15 or 24 years. You depreciate a GPU over 3 to 6 years, and they're making a new one and making them obsolete every single year. The economics are not the same, and people saying this is just like the dot-com bubble, are both wrong and finding ways to rationalize bad behavior and bollocks economics.
Why do you think are you estimating a quarter of data centers?
That's actually my conservative estimate.
What? Well, I mean, let's not go crazy, but what is your slightly less middle of the road estimate?
50% or more.
How come?
Because there is, so I've done the maths. There is,
Dude, he's saying I don't disagree with him. He's saying 50% or more. I agree. I agree.
is when you remove hyperscalers, so the Amazons, Googles, Metas of the world that are just paying these companies like CoreWeave or Nebius to rent GPUs from them. When you remove all that revenue, there is less than $1 billion of GPU rental revenue in the world in 2025.
There's Cubic.
There are, as I said, $178.5 billion of data center credit deals just in America last year. I don't know about you, but I'm not no math knower, but that's a pretty big difference. Now people say, well, credit's different, the useful life, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. If you are building over $100 billion of data centers, just flat out, it's a lower number. You're going to be on these onerous loans of like 8 to 9%. I was about to say APR. It's a little more complex with bondholders and such, but nevertheless, with like burdensome interest rates, and also these data centers take, you need them to at least be partially constructed before you get any revenue. So you're 6 to 12 months before you can get a single dollar, and you've bought these extremely expensive GPUs, and you put them in an extremely expensive data center full of expensive cooling and specialized HVAC stuff. And then you get there, so you're already in the hole. You're massively in the hole. And then you go, brilliant, I'll now provide this to customers. Now, here's the other problem with building $178.5 billion worth of data centers. Everyone's building the same thing. It's the same GPUs. It's the same thing. So you just commoditize the thing that you paid through the nose for, and also there's not much demand for it. How do you pay a loan without money, Mr. Anderson, like the Matrix? But really, how do you like that?
Mr. Anderson, how do you pay a loan without making money?
That's why I'm so worried about this, because the demand isn't there. And there's this specious thing that people say about the insatiable demand for AI compute. It's a bloody lie. Here's another fun fact. OpenAI claims that by the end of 2025, they had 2 gigawatts of data centers. I think Sam Altman's lying. I think Greg Brockman's lying. I think they're both liars. Now, assuming they're correct, let's just assume for a second. OpenAI is the largest consumer of compute in the world, the largest company with the biggest audience, and they only use 2 gigawatts. More services are like 1/10 of OpenAI. So even if everyone needed compute, which they don't, most companies, most AI startups do not rent GPUs, by the way. They mostly use models connected to Anthropic or OpenAI. Even large companies don't really rent GPUs. They rent something from Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud. So already there's a problematic economic thing. Unless your thought is, well, we'll just rent to one of 2 companies. What? Why? Assuming all of these data centers get built, let's say that there's 5 to 6 gigawatts worth of data centers being built. I think it's more. And when I say being built, I mean someone has signed a contract somewhere. At least half of those are dark. The demand isn't there. If the demand was there, CoreWeave would have other customers that.
Nice. I don't want to bore you guys with that. Is there anything else we should talk about today? I left the link to that talk in the live chat. Ugh. Let's see, anything interesting in the bookmarks before we should dip up out of here? Oh, dude. Oh snap, we got a few people trickling in. Finally, it was empty in this bitch for a minute. Uh, 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 So we were just going over the AI data center crisis. If you want to rewind that, please go ahead and do that. If not, then don't. But now we're on to the next segment. Not segment, but bookmarks. This shit cracked me up. This is David Blaine, one of my, I don't want to say heroes, but I loved this guy. Watching him as a kid, I would download his videos off these peer-to-peer like Napster and LimeWire. Dude,
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Catch it. Oh, hold on. I didn't finish. Yep, catch. Oh, shit.
dude, David Blaine is he has to be the best. He's my favorite. Let me run this back. I'm sorry. Let's just watch it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Catch it. Oh, hold on. I didn't finish. Yep, catch. Oh, shit.
Really bad.
When I sprayed the cards,
Yeah.
the card folded a few times and it traveled through the air as you saw. And can you just turn your wrist this way? I think it landed under your. No, but look, check. Wait, will you open and show them?
What a showman. I love it. David Blaine is a motherfucker. Cryptos are us. Ooh, Brian Armstrong didn't back down. He doubles down. Shut up. Oh, I bookmarked this for a reason.
Hey guys, Don.
So this is Donald Trump's son. The griftiest of grifters. Look at his body language. Look at his eye contact. Look at how meaningless this is.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here, one of the co-founders of World Liberty Financial. I want to be the first to share with you something our team has been working tirelessly on over the last several months. Let's pull back the curtain a bit. On February 18th, we'll be hosting the World Liberty Forum, the most exclusive event in technology and finance at, where else? Mar-a-Lago, the crown jewel of Palm Beach. We'll have deep conversations about a better future and the path we need to get there. A lot of what's happening now in finance and tech sounds good on paper, but falls apart in practice. We understand firsthand how flawed the old financial system really is. The trillion-dollar question is what replaces it and who builds it. And that's why we're so excited. History's next chapter might be decided at the World Liberty Forum on February 18th.
Dude, can you be less genuine? Can you be more disingenuous? This was the most disingenuous video I've ever seen. And this is, oh my god. Are they paying Altcoin Daily to pump this bullshit? Come on, dude. Altcoin Daily. I don't follow him, do I? Okay, good. I don't follow him. Cause I know he's a crypto OG in the space, but I think he might have sold his account to somebody. Cause this doesn't provide any value to anybody. It's just bullshit. Propaganda nonsense. Anywho, bookmarks. Where we at? This is hilarious. The most logical argument ever. We can go over this in another stream. This is involved.
I love cold showers. I love cold showers. How did the mirror fog up if you took a cold shower? She said that she...
Dude, I fucking love this shit. Dude, Twitter is for the win. So check this out. I love cold showers, says Dr. Tickle Giggle.
I love cold showers.
Chaos ensues.
How did the mirror fog up if you took a cold shower? She said that she loves cold showers, not that she had a cold shower. If she had a cold shower, she would have said so. Even if she does enjoy cold showers, would it not be contradictory for me to say I love mustard and then show a picture of a bottle of ketchup? That is an unrelated hypothetical to the dilemma at hand. To engage with such would be to engage with a fallacy. You can't object on the grounds of relevancy here. The principle of both situations is the same. Each is illustrating the situation to prove that it's deceptive. Are you claiming my client's a liar? I'm simply saying one can see in Exhibit A that she is not above attaching deceptive imagery to her statements. Let the record reflect that you brought up the word liar. My client has already stated that she had bathed in hot water and then in cold water. You failed to consider that both could be the case, yet didn't hesitate to say she's above deceptive imagery. Looking wildly unprofessional there. At no point did she imply that she bathed in hot water. Her statement only implies that her water transitioned from hot to cold. I must say, no shower control system I've ever...
And we're back. Fuck that, man. Fuck me. I'm sorry, guys.
You failed to consider the possibility that she took a hot shower, disliked it, and then took a cold shower to make up for it. Thus, only enjoying the cold shower. If she knows that she loves cold showers, why on earth would she start with a hot shower? There's no way she'd wait the time required for the water to heat up if she knew she disliked hot showers. Where's it stated that she knew she disliked hot showers? Not only is that information trivial, it's also ignoring the possibility that she wanted to try out a hot shower to see if she still disliked hot showers. If it was hot then cold, wouldn't the cold water have unfogged the mirror? That's not how it works. Yes it is. The cold would unevaporated. Water in the cold. That is enough. The prosecution has a point, but neither side has enough evidence to support their claims. This trial should be postponed until sufficient evidence has been gathered. Adjourned.
Dude, this is exactly how every Twitter argument should end. I loved I loved it. Sorry for the disconnect. Oh, dude. Oh. I know my audience are In Living Color fans. You have to be. My analytics says you guys are from 25 to 50 and you're men. So if you don't know what In Living Color is, dude, I saw this skit and I don't remember seeing this as a kid. I do not remember this. That's how young I was. But this is so ahead of its time. You guys gotta watch. You guys gotta peep this.
Listen up, people. I am here, and I want to help. This is our planet. Can I get a hurrah? What, am I invisible? Doesn't anybody care? Listen to me!
I want one with relish.
And I want mine with, mustard.
I want you to stop this insanity. What do you think you're doing?
I'm trying to make a living here.
And the planet is dying. Listen.
Dude, this is Jim Carrey in the mid-90s. This is 30 years later, this still makes sense.
I can't get a pulse.
What the hell are you talking about?
There are 50,000 hot dog cows in Kansas alone.
So?
So, when those cows break wind, not only is it stinky, but it's cutting a hole in the ozone. Think of those hot dogs as 1 cubic foot of cow gas. Bon appetit. That's it. See? We can make a difference.
I'll make a difference in your face if you don't get out of here.
Oh, the truth hurts, doesn't it, Captain Carnivore?
Okay, little Ricky, now break the piñata.
No! Parents! Don't do it. Don't teach the children how to kill. This is genocide!
This is a birthday party. Would you get lost?
Smoke screen, so the truth cannot be seen. Listen, kids. First you hit a piñata, next thing you know, you're clubbing baby seals. This is real, children. These are the killing fields. The piñatas are piling up. Are you with me? The hell with you then.
Hey, man. If you don't get out of here, I will call the police. I'll whip your ass.
You've been eating hamburger, haven't you? I swear I could just strangle you. Whose is this?
Hey, man.
Do you know what's in this thing?
Air.
Of course there's air. Lots of air that we could be breathing. Free the air! Hey, go, little air, go! Go, hurry! Fly away! Fly away!
You crazy. Give me my ball.
Oh, thank you, you're here!
That cop almost broke. Dude, the crazy thing is, he's obviously being it's hyperbole, but no one would have thought this is like reality right now. People like do this for real at this level.
What seems to be the problem?
The problem is,
Dude, he almost broke character.
oh, thank you, you're here!
What seems to be the problem?
The problem is, I'm trying to teach these people how to embrace the planet, and they're not listening. It's insanity. I swear, it just makes me crazy. I wish somebody would just reach out and do something. I'm running out of breath.
Listen. I don't want any trouble. So why don't you just move along?
Does somebody have a camcorder?
All right. That's enough.
Don't touch me. I'm a vegetarian. Ah!
Alright, anywho, I thought that was funny. Alright, peoples. You guys have a good evening. That was just a quick little live stream I had to do for the evening. I haven't been live with you guys for a minute. Yeah, have a good night, everybody. See you on the next one.